All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Um, hey man, this is an interesting article, okay, on more World War III news, okay, between the U.S. and Iran. Okay, it says Trump to reinstate all U.S. sanctions on Iran, targeting over 700 entities and individuals. Okay, and this is what this right here. These are pretexts for war, man. This is what Yahushua prophesied of when he said, wars and rumors of wars. Okay, all U.S. sanctions on Iran, man, boy. And I believe there was an article before I get into this one. All right, on the EU saying that they're not with what the U.S. is doing. You know, if I could find, there it is. He says EU 404 not finding itself on Iran exemption list. Europe vows to defy U.S. sanctions. Says the European countries have vowed to maintain effective financial channels and to keep trading with Iran after the U.S. announced that EU is not amongst those spared from its sweeping sanctions against Iran. See, so really that also goes into that prophecy of the beast hating the whore. All right, meaning all these so-called allies of the United States, because in the book of Revelation, when it speaks about the whore that sitteth upon many waters, that whore is what? America, the great daughter of Babylon. All right, so these other nations, all right, which are so-called allies of the U.S., are gonna turn on the U.S. and they're ultimately gonna shoot missiles over here too, along with Iran and Russia and China and India and all these other countries. All right, so it says all sanctions on Iran lifted under the 2015 nuclear deal will be back in force on November 5th. The U.S. administration has announced November 5th. If I'm not mistaken, okay, today's the 2nd. Okay, so in about 3 more days, that's gonna happen. Now damn well Iran is not just gonna sit there and take that. All right, says that, hey man, we're getting closer and closer, all right, to that World War III, man, because it's not see, the US isn't rising tensions with just Russia, man. You have China saying that they're preparing for war, just like Russia said they're preparing for war. All right, things are moving fast, man, and every day that passes by, we get closer and closer to this World War III, the War of Armageddon. But you still have people who think that this is a joke, people who like to scoff, people think that, oh, it's never gonna happen. Hey man, I'd rather be the one who, you know what, I took heed, and if it didn't happen, it didn't happen, than to which of course it is gonna happen. All right, then to be the one who's on the other side where having that regret of, damn, I should have listened, you know, because the Most High said what? He doesn't lie. Okay, and this is all prophesied in the Bible, which a lot of people who claim to be Christians and claim to believe in the Bible, they don't read. All right, and if they haven't been given the spirit of understanding, they're not gonna understand the breakdowns. Okay, so whether you know it or not, man, this is all biblical. World War III is biblical. Okay, and it is going to happen. So it says the sweeping sanctions will see 700 people blacklisted. The U.S. Treasury has announced. These include persons that were granted relief under the 2015 deal, as well as 300 new names. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin told reporters. Sanctions will also target payments through the special mechanism that the EU has been creating specifically to avoid Washington's penalties and to keep buying Iranian oil. All right, so nobody's exempt basically. All right, and do you see how this can become a problem? It says Mnuchin has also, if I'm pronouncing that right, has also threatened sanctions against the transaction service SWIFT. SWIFT is no different than any other entity. Let's look that up. SWIFT, transaction service SWIFT. All right. Says McKinsey and Swift, a vision for the future. Uh, actually, okay, so you can do banking and all that stuff with this, huh? All right. Well, basically, it looks like it's it might be a global, yeah, like a global payment system, and I guess that's how certain countries are using to deal with other countries and so on and so forth. But hey, regardless of what method they have, the U.S. said, listen, you're not exempt no matter what, man. We're gonna find your little means, all right, and we're gonna target you too. So the U.S. is really just making enemies out of everybody, all right, with this guy at the forefront. And Trump is gonna show his horns real soon, man. A lot of people, you see, he's gonna come to a point where what Trump is gonna say is gonna be over what the people are gonna be saying, and that's why the scriptures say there's gonna be sedition amongst men, because what he's gonna be saying, all right, you know what? We're gonna go to war. U.S. the people, the civilians, the citizens are gonna be like, nah, we don't want that. But guess what? It's gonna be what he says, because that's the Lord is gonna put the spirit upon him, all right, to say and push for that, because it's all what biblical prophecy that has to happen. So it says the SWIFT is no different than any other entity. Mnuchin told reporters, "We have advised SWIFT that it must disconnect any Iranian financial institutions that we designate as soon as technologically feasible to avoid sanctions exposure." Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has confirmed earlier reports that 8 nations will receive exemptions from the reimposed penalties, but refused to name them and said the EU as a singular entity was not among them. Earlier reports suggested that the list of exemptions would include Japan, India, and South Korea. Pompeo has released a list of 12 demands for Iran to comply with if it wants the sanctions lifted. These include halting all nuclear and ballistic missile development, as well as ending what Washington calls Tehran's support for terrorism and withdrawing from the Syrian conflict. You see, so they're basically trying to use all these sanctions, all right, as a way to force Iran into doing what they want. All right, but the Iranians, man, they get to a point where they're like, you know what? Look at this. They're fed up with the U.S. They're like, to hell with your demands and all that, man. Says our ultimate aim is to compel Iran to permanently abandon its well-documented outlaws activities and behave as a normal country, Pompeo said. Why are you worried so much about Iran? How about you worry about the U.S. and the trillions of dollars of debt that the U.S. is in, which is going to cause this economic collapse? So you see how the evils are rising, man. It's not only an economic collapse that's coming here. Now you got World War III, man. It's gonna be bad out here. It's gonna be bad. More details will become available on Monday as the sanctions take effect, he announced. Because you have people who think that the government can fix everything. Just if the news says it's okay, then it's okay. The government cannot fix everything, man. And it's gonna be at the point where they cannot fix anything. Tehran is dismissing the sanctions, saying it is fully capable of managing its economy despite the resultant pressure. The new U.S. sanctions will mostly have psychological effects, Iranian Foreign Minister spokesman Bahram Qasemi said on state TV. The U.S. will not attain its political goals through such sanctions, he added. Says, this is the second batch of sanctions to be reimposed after U.S. President Donald Trump pulled out of the landmark deal, which was signed by Iran and 6 world powers in 2015. So they pulled out the Iranian nuclear deal. They're out here trying to say they're trying to pull out of the INF, all right, which is a nuclear treaty between Russia and the U.S., all right. So all these quote unquote peace treaties and stuff that were signed, the Mossad is doing away with that by putting the spirit on Trump, all right, to undo those things. It says they cover Iran's shipping, finance, and energy sectors and penalize other countries that don't stop dealing with Tehran. See? Since its withdrawal, the U.S. has been... And what is this going to do? This is going to bring those other countries together. Because what? They're going to find out that they have a common enemy. And that common enemy is going to be the U.S. It says the U.S. has been pursuing the policy of maximum pressure on Iran, much to the chagrin of the European signatories, who have long praised the Obama-era agreement and attested to its effectiveness. The EU has been working on creating special payment channels to continue importing Iranian oil legally. This was set to be symbolically ready by the time sanctions kick back in. So we're gonna see what method the EU has. But hey, these are all part of prophecy, man. The Lord said we're gonna have wars and rumors of wars. All right, and these rumors are not gonna stop at rumors, man. They're gonna become road wars. Okay, so hey, man, that nuclear war is coming, and America is gonna be completely destroyed in this nuclear war, in this World War III, according to the scriptures. All right. So this is the update, man. This is the economic Salakia, the world news. All right, the real truth. Okay, this is all prophecy, and these are videos that we're supposed to be doing. These are articles we're supposed to be watching out for, because what is written of in the scriptures. So when we see it happening, because the Lord said, what, measure the times diligently. When we see it happening, we link it up with the scriptures. We see, okay, this is written of in there. This is prophecy. So we speak on it. We prophesy. All right. But Lord willing, this was edifying unto the elect. I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.